discuss with you on recent advances in farm mechanization of selected crops like paddy, sugarcane, groundnut, cotton. All of you know very well, agricultural mechanization is a need of the hour. Everywhere, shortage of labor, higher cost of labor, deficiency of skilled labor, all these things results increase in cost of production of various crops. If we select a suitable machinery and with suitable power source, if you operate in optimum condition, definitely it may result minimization of the cost of production of the crop. At the same time, it also reduces the drudgery involved in performing different farming operation. We can do all the operation timely, and you will be having better control in various operations, starting from tillage, seed bed preparation, fertilizer application, planting, weed and pest control. And if you adopt these machineries in the recommended spacings and with the timing, automatically it yields to reduction of the harvest losses. And at the same time, if you engage mechanization activity, it also results post-harvest quality preservation, storage, processing, distribution, and marketing. Altogether, it helps the food security of our nation. Similarly, it also generates the required employment opportunities. So, farm mechanization, it also helps for better rural living and working condition of the people, and thus reduce the poverty present in the rural agriculture. Now, I am going to deal some of the machineries that is really practicable and applicable for the present situation. So, if you concern with the paddy crop, the first operation which we normally do is the ploughing, then followed by standing water, then we do the puddling operation. So the conventional puddling, which may have the cage wheels are fitted with the tractor, and either with the cultivator or rotavator, the tractor power source is being operated in the main field. Now, the entire scenario can be changed if you have a rice vessel tractor with rotopuller. Automatically the required condition of the puddling will be improved. So you will be having better quality and very good time reduction, and water requirement will be also less, and this may also help in the mechanized transplanting operation. So like this, it is having a lot of applications. The next one is the laser leveler exclusively for wetland condition. So in the wetland condition for paddy growing, water is one of the critical input which has to be given throughout the period of the crop. We have to see the water is well maintained and conserved. So while preparing the main field, if you engage this the laser leveler exclusively for this paddy operation, definitely it helps to have a constant depth of puddling in the field, which may reduce the water requirement during the process of puddling. The standing water will be uniform in the field after puddling. So you will be having a better, strong subsoil layer, which helps to operation of the paddy transplanter. Similarly, the subsoil layer will be also a good leveled surface layer. Now, if you could see this video clipping, you will be understanding the performance of the wetland laser leveler. Actually, this laser leveler is a attachment to the any tractor, either the tractor may have the cage wheels or the right special tractor, whatever it may be. The laser leveler unit is consisting of a laser transmitter, laser receiver. This laser receiver is mounted on the rotomodular unit, which is mounted rear side of the tractor. So this rotomodular movement is controlled by this laser receiver. So you can see here the entire width of the field is uniformly level. So if this field is uniformly level, then automatically you will be getting an advantage of standing water throughout the field uniform. This is the main advantage of this wetland laser leveler. Then the next important operation is called as a ridge plastering machine. So this machine is nothing but forming bunds around the periphery of the field. So this machine is an attachment to tractor. It is available as such, driven by power track of shaft of the tractor, 3-point pitch system. At optimum semi-matured condition, this implement works well, which helps to form the bunds around the periphery of the field. Then next important is operation is called as a nursery preparation. Since we are talking about the mechanization, for mechanization we require either a mat type nursery or a tray type nursery. Both the nurseries can be prepared either by using a manual seeding machine, or you can also have automatic seeding machine. So this machine is called as a automatic seeding machine, which is which you have to feed the trays one by one. Then the seeds will be dropped continuously. So like this, you have to operate it. Once if you operate it, the seeds which will be having which will be dropped on the trays. So this is a manually operated machine through which you can drop the seeds over the trays. Then similarly, we are having another SRI tray seeder, which is an automatic. So this machine, what it does is, first you are feeding the pro tray. In the pro tray, the soil is first deposited. Over the soil, the paddy seeds will be just dropped in a line. So you can visualize how the seeds are dropped. So while germinating, the seeds will be having, the seedlings will be having uniform diameter throughout the space. So this is the advantage of the nursery preparation machine. Then sometimes, as far as Tamil Nadu condition is concerned, if we don't have enough water, or if the water is not available, then the better option is you can go for the lowland drum seeder, direct drum seeder. Here you should use the pre-germinated paddy seeds, and you can fill in the drums. 8 rows, seeds will be dropped uniformly. At the time of operation, there should not be any standing water, and water should be drained. Then you operate it, seeds will be sown in 8 rows. So if you operate, automatically there is very good reduction in labor cost as well as seed rate, and you can cover around 1 hectare per day. And one advantage what you are getting is the crop matures 7 to 10 days earlier than the transplanted bed. But one thing I want to share is, when you use this drum seeder, better to have a pre-emergence herbicide through which you can avoid the first weeding. And similarly, another equipment which is called as a paddy cum danger seeder, here you will be having dropping of paddy and danger seeds simultaneously in alternate rows. So at a distance of around 25 centimeter, so between the paddy seed, one row will be with danger. So this danger paddy seed, it will have uniform growth. Then during first weeding, you can either operate the Kono weeder, or you can have the SRA paddy power weeder, through which you can just submerge the danger in the standing paddy field, through which you will be enriching the nitrogen content. And in some locations, in dry sowing, you can adopt this tractor mounted direct paddy seeder, through which you can cover around an area of 1 acre per hour. And next is one important advancement which we made in our university, that is called as an unmanned automatic seeder for pelleted paddy. Here, what we are doing, we are taking 3 paddy seeds, and it will be binded together by means of a glue, and this glue, with the help of the glue and this bentonite, you will be making it a small pellet. That small pellet, each pellet, it will be having 3 paddy seeds. So these 3 paddy seeds having pellets are loaded in the seed hopper, and this is the seed metering device through which you can drop the seed pellet. So over the field, the pelleted paddy seeds will be dropped. Once if it is established, the row to row spacing is 30 centimeter. Within a row, either you can have 20 centimeter or 15 centimeter or 25 centimeter as per your requirement. But one thing I want to share is, at each place, either you may have minimum of 2 to 3 seedlings per hill. This is the main advantage of this machine. So this already we developed. So we are conducting trials. Next, once the trials are over, next year definitely we will be releasing this equipment for our farmers' benefit. Then transplanters. Already transplanters are very much popular among the farming community. They are having different types of transplanters, starting from 6 row, 8 row, riding type, walking type, and riding 4-wheel drive. So like this, we are having different types of transplanters. Either the row spacing between the transplanter, you can have 30 centimeter, and in Anchi Shakti, you can have 23.8 centimeter. And here you are having the spacing adjustment between 12 to 20 centimeter, 22 centimeter, depending on our requirement. So I recommend all these types of transplanter, but my recommendation is try to use this riding type transplanter. So this riding type transplanter is very much useful. The laborers need not walk in the puddled soil condition. They can sit comfortably in the transplanter and they can ride the transplanter. At the time, 6 rows transplanting will be taken place. Row to row spacing will be around 30 centimeter. Within the row, either you can have 15 centimeter or 22 centimeter. As I said, the provision is there. So using this machine, now we have established around 16 acres of paddy field at our agricultural research station, Bhavani Sega. So this is the riding type walk behind 4-wheel drive transplanter. Next is the weeding operation. So weeding is the important operation for which we are recommending 2 things. One is called as a Kono weeder, and another one is called a paddy power weeder. This corner weeder requires it is the design is based upon the Irri, which requires very good strength to do the push and pull operation, and this results around 0.1 to 0.18 meter per day. Whereas if you go for this paddy power weeder, it does beautifully the weeding operation. So this is very lightweight equipment. It can be carried by one person, immediate one person without any problem. So it can do the weeding operation either in 2 rows or 3 rows at a time. And this equipment is useful both for drum seeded paddy as well as the transplanted paddy. This equipment you can use it. Then next is harvesting operation. Though presently the harvesting operation is done by combined harvesters, but still we are recommending these two equipments readily available with our system. One is called as a self-propelled vertical conveyor, which is a very good equipment suited for small fields. At the time of harvesting, the paddy should be in erect condition. If you use it, it cuts and windrows the paddy in the main field. And next is called as a self-propelled reaper binder. This is a commercial available one through which you can do two different operations. One is called as a reaping, that is harvesting operation, and another is called as a binding operation. This machine does both the operations simultaneously and it makes bundles in the field. So this is called as a BCS reaper binder. So these two equipments you can strongly recommend wherever there is no way to use the present combined harvester. You can use this recommend. Then using this equipment, you can harvest an area of 1 acre per hour. Then I said there are a number of combined harvesters are available. One is a riding type small combine, track type small combine, tractor operated combined harvesters, then paddy earget harvesters, then paddy straw chopper. Like this, number of equipments are available. So this is called as a track type earhead harvester, through which you will be harvesting only the earheads alone of the paddy crop, and the straw will be cut and it will be just deposited over the field. So this equipment we have tested in our university. This does very beautifully. Wherever the clay soil is more, then in the case of wheel type paddy combine, you can go for this track type paddy combine. Here you will be harvesting only the earhead portion alone. The earhead portion which will be thrust and the grains will be stored in the hopper present in the combine itself. Once this 600 kg hopper is filled, then you can stop it and you can unload it. So this machine is called as a track type combine. Then after combine operation, naturally the paddy straw will be present over the combined over the harvested field. So what is our recommendation is make use of the baler. This baler, what it does is it collects the harvested paddy straw and make as a bale. So this bale you can collect it and transport it to the needy places wherever it can be used as a fodder crop, or this can also be taken into for mushroom industries. So this each baler it will be having a weight of 15 to 45 kg depending upon the baler what we are using. So this baler is called as a round type baler, and another is called as a square type baler. The square type baler, if you engage it, automatically number of bales you can accommodate in the transport vehicle when compared to the your round type baler. Then coming to the sugarcane. So all of us know very well the energy consumption and production of sugarcane is the highest, and it is a labor intensive crop wherein It requires 3,300 man-hours for doing different operations per hectare, and especially at the time of harvesting, you will be facing labor shortage, and if you delay the harvest, which may affect the yield of the crop as well as the juice quality. When referring to the cost of cultivation, 60% of the cost goes towards the labor wages. In fact, I have listed different operations: preparatory tillage, manuring, irrigation, earthing up, weeding, harvesting. Here, one is the labor requirement for conventional method and labor requirement for mechanized operation. So, why I am putting this means, if you recommend this mechanized machinery, very good saving in labor, and you can timely perform the operation. In fact, these are some of the conventional tillage implements used for the land preparation, starting from disc plow. Then you can engage the rotavator. This rotavator does very beautifully pulverize the soil and level the field. And once the field is level, either you can go for the sugarcane ridger, through which you can form 5 feet spaced 2 ridges. So this is you can recommend when the planting of seeds is done by manually. Here the height of the ridge is more than 25 centimeter, through which you can store the enough quality of water. But our recommendation is one more recommendation what we are having. In case of block cotton soil or clay soil, wherever if you find, then normally in those soils there will be a formation of the hot pan. So this hot pan, you have to break it. For breaking the hot pan, you should not use the existing moldwood plow or the disc plow. In that case, you recommend the sisal plow. This sisal plow, it goes up to a depth of 45 centimeter easily when it is hitched with a 40 HP tractor. So once if you operate it, it breaks the hot pan. Automatically you will be having very good aeration, physical structure is maintained, water holding capacity of the soil is also increased. So this equipment, you have to use it once in 2 years, and this equipment you can operate every 1 meter interval. Then next is called as a set cutter. In fact, if you do manual planting of sets, means you can go for the sugarcane set cutting machine. So this machine is a 0.5 HP electric motor, and this equipment, you can, when you use it, you can prepare the single butted set, and the capacity of the machine is 3,600 sets per hour. But another technology is called as a sugarcane bud chipper. So the bud chipper, buds will be generated and buds will be put it into the trays. Then automatically you will be raising SSI seedlings. These SSI seedlings, either you can use it manual method of transplanting, or you can go for the SSI transplanter. So using this machine, you can do the 1,000 buds per hour, but operating this to have better operation, the pressure what we require is around 0.5 to 0.7 kg per centimeter square. Then another machine which I am going to present is sugarcane set cutter planter. Though this machine is very much popular in northern India, in our southern India, especially in Tamil Nadu, this is not introduced. That's why our esteemed Vice Chancellor directed, and we had established 3 acres of sugarcane mechanized field. So one such equipment is called as a sugarcane set cutter planter. So using this equipment, you can form 2 deep furrows at an interval of 5 feet. For mechanized field condition, you have to recommend 5 feed row to row crop. Then you are feeding the detached sugarcane, and here one cutter will be there. That cutter cuts the sugarcane and makes the sets of 30 to 45 centimeter, and these sets it will be just placed in the deep furrow. Then here you can see one wheel is there. That wheel just it will be compressing after depositing the soil. Once this is planted, then automatically you can irrigate the field with drip irrigation. So through drip irrigation itself, enough water is given and the crop will be germinated. The cost of the equipment is around 1,20,000 rupees. You have required a minimum of 60 to 70 HP tractor. Then another equipment which I am recommending is SSI transplanter. So here you have to use 25 days SSI seedling, and this transplanting you have to do it every 60 centimeter interval. So this equipment is also recommended for mechanized sugarcane cultivation. So here the trays are loaded in the machine. Two operators are sitting over the seat, and they are feeding the SSI method raised seedlings, and these seedlings it will be just taken and deposited at an interval of 60 centimeter in the row. So once if it is deposited, around that the soil will be heaped and it will be compressed. So it will stay in the erect position. And here you are having one marker is there. This marker helps the operator to operate the machine in the next row. So this is also one of the equipment which we had used in our main campus for establishing the demonstration of sugarcane mechanization. Then another method is called as a pit ticker method of sugarcane planting. So this equipment is operated by a 35 HP to 40 HP tractor, PTO operated, 3-point pitch system. Using this machine, you can dig 2 pits at a time. The pit diameter is around 3 feet 90 centimeter, and row spacing is 150 centimeters center to center, and depth of pit is 30 centimeter, and per hour you can make pits of 250 to 300 feet, and cost of the machine is around 1.3 lakhs. So using this you can make the pits, and in the pits on the periphery you can just dribble the sugarcane sets. Automatically you will be having very good higher cane yield, around 214 tons per hectare, as against the conventional method of 116 tons per hectare. So here you will be getting higher number of millable cans, and each can weight around 1.93 kg, and higher commercial cane sugar you can around 12.9% it has resulted. Then the next operation which consumes more labor and time is called as a intercultivation or weeding operation. But even though they are recommending 5 feet for harvesting, 5 feet row to row spacing for using the sugarcane harvesters, but still our farmers are using either 2.5 feet, 3 feet, or 1.5 feet, 2 feet. Like this, they are recommending adapting. So in those conditions, they can make use of this TNAU power weeder. Between the rows, you can operate it, and you can do the weeding operation. Using this machine, you can cover an area of 1 hectare per day, and the cultivation practice distance row between row to row is 90 centimeter. Here you can have both rotary as well as the ridging attachment. And one important thing is here I want to share is the usage of mini tractor. This mini tractor is commercially available, which is having a horsepower between 18 to 20 HP, and the Mitsubishi tractor is commonly known to all the farmers. Here you can introduce this mini tractor attached rotavator if the sugarcane is planted at a distance of 5 feet row to row, then you can mainly use this machine. So here if you use this machine does an operation of 6 man-hour per acre, whereas if you do using manually, it requires 240 man-hour per acre. So you will be having very good amount of saving in cost, and the cost of the machine is around 3,50,000 rupees. Similarly, you can do the earthing of operation and interculture operation making use of this the mini tractor. Then another thing is called as a existing cultivator. You can also make some modification. That is rearranging the tines in the existing cultivator, and you can use it accordingly. Because here the tires are very much important. We should have enough passage for movement of the tire. The tire width, it may either have 45 centimeter or 60 centimeter. So if 90 centimeter row to row spacing is available, there you can employ this cultivator tines, which can be used for weeding operation. Suppose if in this case we made one 3-row rotary weeder through which you can have the weeding operation very wide. So this is also a 3-point hitch system. The tractor tires are just extended, and the equipment is operated by PTO. It does weeding in 3 rows at a time. So this is one of the best equipment. It covers around 0.24 hectare per hour, which results in saving in cost of 73%, saving in time of 85%, and cost of the equipment is around 1,50,000. Next is another operation is called as a detrashing operation. Normally, detrashing has to be done, but our farmers, because of the non-availability of the labor, they do conventionally with this sugarcane sticking sickles. But we are having one cane detopper cum stripper, which does detopping and detrashing 1 by 1 can. So this is a low, which gives very low output, even though the cost of the machine is 1,25,000. Just for information, I am sharing this. But our recommendation is, if you want to do the detrashing operation, either you can have TNA model sugarcane detrasher. Both models are available. One is the mild steel and another is the stainless steel. So the difference is only the weight. The stainless steel is around 0.4 kg, whereas the mild steel is 0.52 kg, through which you can do the detrashing effectively. Then the cane harvesters. We are having number of harvesters. All the harvesters are chopper harvester, or you can call it as a billet harvester. We don't have a successful whole cane harvester. So these harvester you have to employ if the sugarcane crop is raised in a row spacing of 5 feet or 1.5 meter. So if you raise the crop, then automatically the machine can be employed, through which you can harvest around 200 to 300 tons per day of 8 hours. So this machine is also popular. And another machine is called as your chopper harvester, Osotop. So this machine is also used in sugarcane areas. And here another machine is the billet harvester I am just talking. So here what it does is, it does 3 important operations. One is called as a detopping operation. The top portion will be cut. And another operation is, in the front side you can see 2 dividers. These 2 dividers, it uplifts the large cane and make it is a straight can, and it feeds to the cutting. So once if it cuts, then base cutting will be done. Then after cut, the cane enters into the machine. It will be made as billets of length between 30 to 45 centimeter. Then it will be loaded in the tractor drawn trailer. So this is one type of harvester. And similarly, we are having a number of other type of harvester, but all these harvesters are of billet type only. We are at present in our sugar mills, they go either for class sugarcane chopper harvester, or they go for the Saktiman chopper harvester. Like this, different chopper harvesters are available. So here this class sugarcane harvester, chopper harvester is having a specialty in which the header unit can be adjusted from 3 feet to 5 feet. So this can be also used for the harvesting of sugarcane. Similarly, other harvesters which very much popular are the Matsubishi Kiko, Butani Keko, Bunmai, all these harvesters are available. So after harvesting, then you can see the field is loaded with lots of trashes. So these trashes has to be collected from the field after harvesting. So once the trashes are collected, the machine is called as a baler. It collects and makes as a square baler, which you can see the baler. Yeah, rectangular baler will be there. Just you can see these bales, you can transport it for other purposes. Okay, this is also one of the important equipment which is very much popular in northern India. The field capacity of the machine is around 2 hectares per day. Then we are having another thing, equipment is called as a trash collector cum shredder. So whatever the sugarcane trash is available, these trashes will be collected and it will be cut into pieces and it will be just spread over the field. So that is the purpose of this trash collector cum shredder. Then after harvesting, that is return crop 1 or return crop 2, you can go using this the stubble saver. Here this machine is operated by the PTO of a tractor. So you can do the saving of sugarcane stubble after harvesting. Similarly, this machine can be also used for off-barring as well as fertilizer application. The cost of the machine is around 15,000 rupees. So stubble caving come after a barring. Either another model is available which is operated by a mini tractor. So this mini tractor is having hot 18 to 20 HP, through which you can also do this off-bearing and forming the ridges with a capacity of 0.2 hectare per hour. Then another equipment introduced by our Indian Institute of Sugarcane Research, that is called as a return manager, for which we require a power of tractor is 40 HP or above. So this equipment, what it does is it cuts and make a ridge. Then we'll be having return stubble saved. So using which you will be having a very good return crop after its usage. Then coming to the groundnut. So groundnut is one of the oilseed crops. So this oilseed crop is mainly cultivated in Tamil Nadu as a rain-fed crop. So in the rain-fed, one important requirement is before the depletion of the moisture, you have to do the complete the sowing operation. So if a farmer is having one pair of animal, he can adopt this bullock drawn sickle, or suppose if he is having a power tiller, he can go for the power tiller seed, using which he can sow 3 rows or 4 rows at a time. But our recommendation is go for the cultivator mounted seedle. This cultivator is commonly available with the farming community. So this seedle portion alone, they can purchase it and they can mount it and they can use it in the main field. So at that time, you will be sowing the seeds 9 rows. The row to row spacing is around 22.5 centimeter. Within the row, the seed to seed spacing it may vary from 7 to 12 centimeters. Though our recommendation is 10 centimeters within a row, but because of the seed drill, you will be having. Then behind this, we are having a furrow closer, which closes the furrow. So this is called as a cultivated seed drill, which we are recommending for sowing for groundnut. Another two types of seed drills, one is called as a broadbed farmer cum seeder and basin lister cum seeder. So these two equipments, they are recommending for the rainfed cultivation also. Here you can see the lister, that is the lister means 120 centimeter length, 30 centimeter width, 15 centimeter depth, deep furrow will be formed, and between these two deep furrow, you will be having some deep amount of soil will be there. So whenever rain comes, the rainwater will be accumulated in this list, in this basin list. It will not be allowed to go as runoff. So at the same time, the seed drill which is mounted along with the basin lister, it does the sowing of seed. Similarly, this broadbed farmer, what it does is a raised bed will be formed. On either side of the bed, you will be having two deep furrows. So these two deep furrows, either you can do the irrigating the field, or whenever any excess rain is there, the excess water can also be drained. Then another important operation which we used to consume some more labor is called as a plant protection operation. For this purpose, we are recommending the power tiller operated boom sprayer. If a farmer is having a power tiller using which we can use this boom sprayer which is mounted in the front side of the power tiller. Only the thing is you have to give enough spacing for mobility of the unit. So this side 3 meter, this side 3 meter. Accordingly, you can have the nozzles at a spacing of 0.5 meter or 30 centimeter. You can adjust. Once the crop is raised, then this boom can also be just raised in the mast. So at the end of the fields, the boom can be folded in the transport conditions also. This is called as a power tiller operated boom sprayer. Then another important operation for which we are having the equipment is called as a groundnut harvester. So this groundnut harvester is an attachment to a 30 HP or 40 HP tractor, which is having a blade. So this blade enters into the soil, uplifts the groundnut crop, then uplifted crop will be taken by this conveyor chain, and it will be just kept at the rear portion of the crop, rear portion of the unit. Just it will be windrowed. So like this only it does the operation. So this equipment works well in sandy soil, red, sandy, loam soil. When you raise the crop in black soil, there the moisture content is one of the important parameters which we have to take into account. And using this equipment, you can harvest around 5 acres per day of 8 hours. Then after harvesting, you have to strip the pods from the column. So for that purpose, we are having a groundnut stripper. 4 laborers, just they will be sitting over this stripping unit, and they can do this stripping operation. You can have 300 kg per day with 4 women, and stripping efficiency is 97%. So we are not satisfied. So we have made an equipment that is called as a groundnut stripper. It is operated by 2 HP engine or 2 HP motor. 2 persons for holding and pressing. It strips the crop raised in an area of 1 acre in 1 day. Here this is called as a groundnut stripper. Very good equipment. Now I am talking about the groundnut thresher. So groundnut thresher, which we have developed, is called as a 5 HP, suited for 5 HP power source. Either you can have electric motor operated or oil engine operated. Even it can be attached to the tractor PTO system. The very function of this thresher is separating and cleaning the freshly harvested crop. So this is an axial flow type. Now the modification of this existing groundnut thresher is available with a higher capacity, and it is being manufactured in Coimbatore and it given to the number of farmers for application. The next very important equipment is called as a self-propelled groundnut combine. It does the two operation, harvesting operation and stripping operation. So this self-propelled groundnut combine, you can use it if the crop is raised on raised bed system. In the bed, you will be having two rows. Here, a collector will be there, a digging blade will be there. This digging blade enters into the bed, uproots the crop. The uprooted crop carried by the conveyor, and at the end, you are having a stripping drum. The stripping drum removes the parts, and the harvested part taken to the hopper, and the groundnut it will be left in the field itself. So this is called as a self-propelled groundnut combine, which requires some more modification. Why I means if you adopt this raised bed system means the plant population is per square meter around you will be getting 21, but our recommendation is the plant population per square meter is around 33. So research is still going on to optimize the spacing for operating this groundnut combine. Then the next crop is called as a cotton crop. This cotton crop is one of the important crop. Actually, this crop is main crop of Tamil Nadu once at a time, but now the area is also getting reduced. So normally for cotton, the ploughing operation is done by disc plough and cultivator. Suppose if the cultivator is not available, you can go for the rotavator. You will be having better pulverized leveled field. Once the pulverized leveled field is available means, then you can do the sowing at required rotor spacing using a tractor-drawn inclined plate planter. Either you can go for the 2 feet or 3 feet or 4 feet or 5 feet, depending upon the variety which we are going to sow. Accordingly, the field capacity will be varying. So here we get sown around 2 feet, which gives a result of 2 hectares per day. So you will be having around 5 rows. Then another important machine, which is called as a tractor operated pneumatic seed planter. Normally, whenever any seed planter is used, we used to have the delinted cotton seed. So once the delinted cotton seed is put into the seed hopper, then the vacuum which is generated by this blower, automatically it picks only one seed at a time and it releases at the required depth. Here you are having provision to change the rotor spacing, and the placement of the seed is done by the vacuum generated by the blower. So this equipment is a reliable equipment through which you can get the high accurate placement of the seed. Then next is called as a weeding operation. Either you can go for the power weeder, and suppose if the rotor spacing is more than 2 feet or 2.5 feet, then you can go for the tractor operated power weeders. Because if the rotor spacing is more than 2 feet means the tires movement will not be a big problem. So in that case you can go for this. Then another equipment just for knowledge, I am introducing, there is cotton picker, manually operated cotton picker. So this what you would do is just wherever the totally busted bolts is there, just you sew this, then this equipment just fix the bust cotton and it will be loaded in the bag which is shoulder mounted. So using which you can dust harvesting of cotton per hour between 6 to 7 kg. Then another equipment which I want to show is called as a boom sprayer. Here I am totally very much worried about the rotor spacing. If the rotor spacing is more than 3 feet, then it is very easy for us to make use of this machine. So according to the height of the crop, the boom can be either lowered or lowered, raised or lowered. So this is a air assisted boom sprayer, one of the best equipment which does huge which covers huge area in lesser time. Then the cotton harvester. I am happy to mention here our university has succeeded in evolving a variety which is having synchronized boll maturity, boll bursting. So if the variety is having synchronized boll bursting, then only you can go for this cotton harvester. So this cotton harvester is available, and it is commercial makes are available by John Deere tractors as well as Shaktiman. So here the machine is having two important things. One is called as the guiding arrangements through which the plants will be guided into the picking zone. The picking zone, what is this is, it picks the burst cotton. So at the time of harvesting cotton, you have to apply the defoliant agent. So defoliant agent, what it does is, it remove all the leafy material present in the crop. Only the crop will be having around 80 to 90% of the burst cotton. So that burst cotton will be taken away by this mechanism present in this cotton harvester. Then it goes into the conveying system and it will be loaded. There it will be loaded in the storage basket. Actually, we tried for conducting demonstration of this harvester during the last season, but because of this COVID-19 situation, we couldn't able to do the demonstration of this unit. Then the tractor operated rotor slasher. Once the crop is harvested, that is, a number of pickings are over, the automatically standing crop will be there. The standing crop, once if you want to remove weeds, it requires a very good amount of labor. Instead, you can have this rotor slasher. This rotor slasher is a rear mounted. It is a rear mounted of the tractor, and what it does is just it compresses the crop, and the compressed cotton, it will be entered into the cutting section. There, because of the cutting blades rotating action, so the plant will be cut and it will be shred to a level of 25 millimeter in a larger area. The capacity of the machine is around 1 hectare per day. And another machine is called as a cotton stalk shredder cum applicator. Here what we are having is, we are having two units. One is called front mounted shredder unit, and rear you are having the conventional rotary tiller. So what it does is, it cuts the crop, shreds the crop, the shredded cotton will be just incorporated in the soil using this rotor water. So the equipment is having around a capacity of 1.5 hectare per day. So using this,